What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're going to jump in and take a look at one of the new Nightfall Strike unique rewards inside of Destiny 2, and this one's going to be the D.F.A hand cannon. So of course, spoiler alert, it seems like it's already too late for that. This is the new hand cannon that comes from the Tree of Probabilities Nightfall Strike, so just like all of the other Strike loot, you have a chance to get this thing dropped whenever you clear the Nightfall. Higher scores will give you an increased chance. Before I go any further, I've got to say a big thanks to my pal Fusion for letting me try this thing out on his account. He was lucky enough to get it dropped pretty early on, so I really appreciate you letting me try this thing out. So this is a pretty interesting weapon. If we take a look at the weapon visually, we can see that it is a hand cannon with this kind of Red Legion theme. So you have a bit of the Red Legion logo right there on the side of the weapon. It's certainly a slightly different looking weapon in terms of D2, and it definitely, to me at least, carries the enemy theme a little bit more than the other strike weapons that we've had. But let's take a look at the perks. So first up, it is an adaptive frame hand cannon. That's 84 impacts and it fires at 140 rounds per minute. So it's like the Better Devils, even the old-fashioned. Definitely a very solid archetype. We do have barrel options, so we've got arrowhead break, we have polygonal rifling, and then extended barrel. I'll talk more about those options in a moment, but we do have accurized rounds, which increases range. We also have drop mag in the middle column. Magazine drops on reload, wasting ammunition, but greatly increasing reload speed. And then, like the other strike weapons, these actually have two trait bonuses to pick from. So we firstly have opening shot, improved accuracy and range on the opening shot of attack, and then rampage, kills with the weapon temporarily grant increased damage. So to talk more about the perks very briefly, having bonus range from accurized rounds is pretty great because this hand cannon actually has one of the best base range stats in the archetype, and it actually beats out pretty much all of the other favorite hand cannons in the game. Of course, opening shot is great for accuracy. It's going to be especially good in PvP content, really, although you can use it wherever you want. But also rampage, this is a great bonus in any kind of content. In PvE, getting bonus damage when you make kills is of course very good, and the same thing for PvP really. Bonus damage is always fun. So off the bat, in terms of perks, it's in a pretty decent spot as far as perks go in D2, and then to talk stats, it's actually pretty good. So we have a range of 50, and this beats out the Better Devils, which has 46, and the Old Fashioned, which has 44. These are the base range stats, so it does stack up pretty well. D.F.A also has a higher base stability of 59 points. You have 48 on Better Devils, 55 on the Old Fashioned. The handling is at 48 points, so pretty close to most other hand cannons in the archetype, but D.F.A wins again with the base reload at 52 points. But another area where the D.F.A stands out is the aim assist, so 77 points, again beating pretty much all of the popular adaptive frame hand cannons in the game. Of course, these are just stats, but the weapon is set up pretty well from the get-go. So now I'm going to talk about, is this weapon actually good? Well, first up, for PvE content, yeah, I've actually enjoyed using this weapon quite a bit. Again, the stats are really solid on this thing. In terms of handling and how it feels, it's a pretty consistent hand cannon. Of course, having rampage, you know, we really like our damage bonuses in PvE content. And you know, if you take some of those favorites, the Better Devils, the Midnight Coup, this one definitely kind of cements itself there as a solid weapon amongst those other hand cannons. Despite the difference in archetype though, I would say personally, I think Midnight Coup is a little bit better for PvE stuff because you have rampage as well as outlaw. For me personally, I really appreciate those fast reloads, but nonetheless, this thing is pretty solid. The only other issue it really faces is the same issue that every hand cannon faces in PvE, and that is the ammo situation. So all around, I think it's definitely worth picking up, you know, if you're interested in using it for PvE. Moving over to PvP though, this thing is really consistent. It's worth noting that in all the time that I actually use this weapon in PvE and PvP, I was using extended barrel, which does increase the range. It decreases handling speed a little bit. You do have options which are going to give you a bit more stability as well. I feel though like it is definitely worth, you know, going with that range option, extended barrel, because of course you also have accurized rounds, and with the base range stat that you get on this weapon, it does really have, you know, some of the best range that you'll find on any hand cannon in this particular class. And so across the board, but in PvP in particular, this thing is very consistent. If you pace your shots well, you know, I don't have the best hand cannon aim in the world. You of course have the option of going with opening shot, which is going to improve the accuracy of that first shot. Pretty important with a hand cannon in PvP stuff. I personally went with rampage even in the Crucible, but it's a totally legitimate option against multiple targets. You know, it's really going to help you out. Overall, this thing is really solid. Excellent range. It handles really well in the Crucible, even with that extended barrel option. You can feel the stickiness that you get from that aim assist as well on the consoles. I don't necessarily think it is going to replace things like, you know, the old-fashioned Midnight Coup, even the Better Devils, but I do think, you know, it can kind of sit amongst them. As well as this, of course, you do have the fact that it's actually a unique weapon, somewhat unusual looking, but unique nonetheless. So if you're playing D2 right now and you're looking for something new and you enjoy your hand cannons, I think it's a great option, definitely something to go for. Of course, from this review alone, you know, if it doesn't excite you, you're not going to want to jump in and play for it. I personally am going to try and pick it up, but let me know your thoughts, guys. Do you think it's worth jumping in and collecting? Have any of you managed to pick it up yet, or does the grind continue? Once again, though, I've got to say thanks to Fusion for letting me use his account. I really appreciate that. If you have enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated. If you want to save 10% on Control Freak products, including any of their Destiny 2 thumbsticks, braided cables, or literally anything else in the store, then follow the link in the description below or use code HOUNDISH at checkout and you'll save yourself a few bucks. For now though, I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you guys very soon.